Hi, I'm Dean with Old English Outfitters, and today we're going to be talking about the Smith Wesson CSX E-Series. Now, we have already done a review of the CSX, the Gen 1, if you will. If you want to check out all of the features and specs in depth, I encourage you to go look at our previous videos and find that one. Just as a brief overview, this is a stack and a half Micro 1911, aluminum frame, iron sights, thumb safety, full ambi, kind of the works. Really, the best in its class. Any other Micro 1911 before this one was a weird halfway spot between a pocket gun and like a carry gun, and didn't quite scratch either itch, if you will. When the CSX came out, it felt good in hand, it filled the hand, it was a relatively high capacity, either a 10 or a 12 round mag, and the most important of any of those, it shot well. It sat in the hand good, it presented well, and performed like you would want it to, like you would want a carry gun to. Unlike, and I won't name names, but unlike any other small 1911 that was produced at that point. Smith & Wesson, true to form, did listen to their customers and come out with a Generation 2 that had some improvements we were all wanting out of the Gen 1. So let's get into that a little bit. Starting at the bottom, the biggest difference is going to be your magazine capacity. You get 3 magazines in the box, a 12-round mag, a 15-round mag, and then a 17-round mag, which is nice. Before, our max capacity was 12. Along with those, you get different filler plates to allow you to use those different magazines with the short configuration of the gun or the long configuration. By changing the back strap, you have a giant fixed filler sleeve, if you will, that sits on the gun and allows you to use those larger magazines and have them set flush. So you'll be able to use the 15-round mag flush, and then the 17-round mag sticks out just a little bit. So for those of us that maybe were thinking the CSX would have been a good platform for a compact size handgun, 15-round capacity, a little fuller frame, you kind of have a way to do that. Moving up from there, they did fix the trigger. That was the biggest gripe out of the CSX for anyone, is the reset on the CSX trigger had this weird hiccup where it would click once, but you'd have to get to the second click before it would actually reset, a false reset. This does not have that. It's very short and tactile, one click, and you are back in the game. So much easier to get consecutive follow-up shots with this gun, I found, than the original. Other than that, the controls are all identical. To me, it feels like the safety is a little bit less sloppy than on the Gen 1, but it feels the same. It's the same size and shape. Same with the slide release. It is still full ambi. Hammer, sights, it all comes with the same features. It is available in a slightly longer barrel length. This is a 3.3 inch. You can get it in a 3.6 if you prefer kind of a long slide configuration. And finally, this is optics ready. The original CSX was not. It had the same exact iron sights, but there was no area on top for an optic to be mounted. And that was a big complaint. I think most people in the industry nowadays kind of expect an optics ready platform, or at least the option. Red dots are the way of the present and the way of the future. Don't get me wrong. I like iron sights. I understand, and I can shoot them. I think everyone should be able to shoot them, but red dots work really good. I carried this around for about 3 weeks. I shot it in classes and in my personal range time to get reacquainted with it, and it shot very well. And I was carrying around in a rounded concealment holster. We love Rounded. They sent us this to test the gun out. Thank you to Ruben over at Rounded. They make some of the best kydex in the game at a reasonable price. So we love their stuff. We stock them, and we're not going to stop anytime soon. I do have a few minor gripes about the pistol. One kind of major flaw, and the other is just minimal. With the whole grip adapter thing, I think it looks a bit ugly. I think it's cool that they did it, and they did do it in an innovative way, as opposed to just having the mag sleeves, which we've seen lots of times before. But this does have a little bit of flex to it. So when it's mounted on the gun, and when I was trying to do a reload with this installed, I was able to kind of smush it out of place with my pinky. If I'm really cranking down on the grip, this will flex and warp a little bit on the gun. It doesn't do it much, but you can feel it move. It's not enough to induce like a malfunction or a failure to insert the magazine, but it feels weird. You can feel it moving and kind of creaking around, and I didn't necessarily like that. I prefer the grip to feel solid if I can. The magazine capacity is great. The 17-round mag is really long for how short this barrel is. It would not look out of place on, I think, the 3.6-inch barrel, but for how compact this gun is, it's very obvious that this is the intended silhouette of the pistol. And the 15-round mag looks a little long. The 17-round mag looks kind of ridiculous on a 3.3-inch barrel. Maybe just my opinion. The optics cut is my major gripe. The plate, because this is such a short area between the rear of the slide and the start of your chamber and the hood of your barrel, there's not a lot of room there. And in order to be able to mount a K-Series optic or a K-Series footprint, they made this weird plate where the plate acts as the front of the dovetail for your CSX rear sight. And I think that's kind of dumb, okay? So, because as soon as these screws start to come loose, or as soon as you take them off, your rear sight just falls out of the gun, okay? You have the set screw in there like you did before, but that's not really going to do anything if the whole front dovetail of the, iron sight channel is just gone. So I think that was kind of weird and maybe a little bit lazy. You could have done a different rear sight. Smith just loves proprietary rear sights, and if they would have just bit the bullet and did like a Glock 43 rear sight dovetail, you could have fit everything in there. And I know that because I did it. I did it on my original CSX. My buddy at One Off Coating, Tom, and his CNC guy, Ben, we kind of looked at the slide and measured it, and I was thinking you could fit an optic in there, and sure enough, we did. We milled through the rear sight and flat over the dovetail, and we were able to get a rear sight that co-witnessed through a Holosun EPS. Direct mount, and it fit perfectly. I get it, you like your proprietary sights, but that's kind of weird, okay, that the plate is the dovetail. And I think that most people are not going to want to trust that. Screws back out, they just do. And if those two tiny little screws are all that's keeping your rear sight in place, I think that people are going to have a tough time trusting that whole picture. Might just be me, but I wish they would have designed a different rear sight or used another company's dovetail pattern to use one of those rear sights so that we could have had a traditional optics ready gun that has iron sights on the pistol and you can mount an optic if you wish. Maybe you put red Loctite on these and crank them down and they never come loose. They probably won't, but my opinion, I know it's possible and I wish they would have put more thought into it. Outside of that, this is an excellent evolution of the CSX. I've always been a fan of this gun, and seeing them add some more capacity and fix the trigger that everyone hated, it's nice to see companies actually try to fix things and make them better for the customer. Guys, that's the review. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. In addition, we are on pretty much every social media platform at Old English Outfitters. Go over there, check us out. If you like what you see, give us a follow. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.